Pakistan still to this day has some of the most archaic and extreme blasphemy laws. The Asia Bibi case has gone worldwide by now. Everybody understands that Pakistan has really strict rules when it comes to religion. Asia Bibi, of course, being the Christian woman who was sentenced to death, spent many years on death row before being acquitted for lack of evidence. She was charged with saying something allegedly negative about Islam or Muhammad, and ever since, her family's been on the run. They've been targeted by extremists, hunting them door to door with photographs to know what they look like. Asia Bibi's been put into safe housing. Her lawyer has had to leave the country. It's insanity. But it all comes back to the point that Pakistan's blasphemy laws really are extreme, and something you don't really expect to see in the modern day. I hate the argument of, oh, it's the 21st century, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, it is the 21st century. We've changed in the West. We've become significantly more civilized and decent. And, well, it seems like Pakistan hasn't really kept up. So I wanted today to look at the blasphemy laws under the Pakistan Penal Code. Multiple instances whereby you can, well, you'll be given some pretty serious sentences if you dare do something included within this penal code. So it's a few sections I wanted to take a look at, and let's see what the punishments are. So let's start with section 298 of the penal code, which says uttering words, etc., with deliberate intent to wound religious feelings. Kind of sounds like what the far left does in the UK. Wounding feelings. Except this time it's not wounding feelings if you're trans or something. It's wounding feelings if you're religious, Muslim and religious. And God help you if you are trans over there. The punishment for this one is a term of 1 year or a fine or both. Section 298A, in a similar theme, says use of derogatory remarks in respect of holy personages. So it goes on to say, whoever by words, either spoken or written, or by visible representation, or by any imputation, innuendo, or insinuation, directly or indirectly, defiles the sacred name of any wife or members of the family of the Holy Prophet, or any of the righteous caliphs or companions of the Holy Prophet, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 3 years, or with fine, or with both. So 3 years or a fine or both if you directly or indirectly criticize anyone religious, anyone significant in the Muslim religion. 3 years. And it's amazing that the directly or indirectly, they're so vague. It's so important in good law to be clear. You have to be clear. Otherwise, anybody can be charged with anything. And honestly, the amount of people who've probably done this indirectly over the years, I imagine, is quite large. Section 298B. This says misuse of epithets, descriptions and titles, etc., reserved for certain holy personages or places. So very quickly, any person of the Qadani group or the Lahori group or the Ahmadis refers to, addresses any person other than a caliph or a companion of the Holy Prophet as Amir-ul-Mu'minin. So, I mean, let's not go through all this. You can read it yourself. I'll put the link in the description. If you use the wrong title for the wrong people, you could be punished to a term of 3 years or a fine or both. So don't make any accidents about referring to people when you're in Pakistan. Moving on to 298C. This says person of Qadani group, etc., calling himself a Muslim or preaching or propagating his faith. So in Pakistan, there are certain groups within Islam who are considered not true Muslims. And if you're found to be one of these people, Al-Mahdis in particular, who directly or indirectly poses himself as a Muslim or calls or refers to his faith as Islam. So if you're Al-Mahdi and refer to your faith as Islam, or preaches or propagates that faith, or invites others to accept that faith, you'll be sent to prison for a term of up to 3 years, or a fine, or both. And God help you when you come back out of prison, because they don't like the Ahmadis over there. Section 295. This is injuring or defiling place of worship with intent to insult the religion of any class. So it's not just a case of damaging property, which is of course wrong. It says whoever destroys, damages, or defiles any place of worship in particular, or any object held sacred by any class of persons, with the intention of thereby insulting the religion of any class of persons, or with the knowledge that any class of persons is likely to consider such destruction, damage, or defilement as an insult to their religion. So if you damage a place of worship, whether you intend for it to be insulting to the religion or not, doesn't matter. If someone perceives it to be insulting to the religion, you get a term of 2 years in prison or a fine or both. Again, this sounds like what the left does over here. It doesn't matter whether you had the intent. Like, look at Count Dankula. He never had any intention of propagating any kind of Nazi ideology, but the courts told him context didn't matter. That's how they perceived it. So he's going to prison now because he hasn't paid his fine. He was fined 800 quid for that. Again, this sounds exactly like what the left is doing here in the UK, which is kind of scary. I wrote about this actually in a book called A Paradoxical Alliance, about the connections between the left and Islam. I might have to update it with this. Section 295A. This says deliberate and malicious acts intended to outrage religious feelings of any class by insulting its religion or religious beliefs. Again, insult the religion, you're in trouble. This one's really tough. Term of up to 10 years or a fine or both. Again, for outraging religious feelings. Section 295B, defiling of the Holy Quran. This is when it gets really serious. So, whoever willfully defiles, damages, or desecrates a copy of the Holy Quran or of an extract therefrom, or uses it in any derogatory manner or for any unlawful purpose, shall be punishable with imprisonment for life. So if you desecrate a copy of the Holy Quran or an extract, or use it in any derogatory manner, I don't know, what could that include? Holding the Quran and saying something bad about it? Who knows? You don't even have to desecrate it. You can be sent down for life in prison. Section 295C, that's the last one we're going to look at. This is use of derogatory remarks, etc., in respect of the Holy Prophet. So it says here, whoever by words, either spoken or written, or by visible representation, or by any imputation, innuendo, or insinuation, directly or indirectly, defiles the sacred name of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, shall be punished with death or imprisonment for life, and shall also be liable to fine. So this is, I believe, what Asia Bibi got caught up in. This is using derogatory remarks about the Holy Prophet Muhammad. Say anything negative, written or spoken, directly or indirectly, by innuendo or insinuation, again, so vague, is terrifying. The punishment is mandatory death penalty, and not only that, the trial has to take place with a Muslim judge presiding, so good luck with that case. I find this astonishing. First off, the correlation and the similarities between what's happening here in the UK with what the far left's trying to do to our own legal system. But secondly, just how extreme these laws are. In 2018, when the West has moved on, the East clearly hasn't. All parts of the East clearly hasn't. So I want to do something about this. I think it's time that Pakistan became less extreme. I think it's time they modernized like the rest of us. And I think it's time that the West started pushing them to change. We can't keep seeing instances like Asia Bibi. We need to see some real change here for the sake of everybody in Pakistan, for the sake specifically of the Christians and the minorities there who are living under this tyranny, fearing for their lives. So I think it's time for the British government to stop foreign aid to Pakistan. So we've set up the campaign, stopforeignaidtopakistan.com, and I hope you'll go there. You can sign our petition. I'm going to be giving that to the government, specifically to Penny Mordaunt, the International Development Secretary. And I'm going to tell her we want to stop foreign aid to Pakistan. It's as simple as that. If we stop giving them money, just like Trump's done, if we stop giving them money, they're going to have to listen. They're going to have to come to the table, and we'll tell them that we won't negotiate or cooperate with extremists. You don't need to be British to sign the petition. Anyone in the world can sign it. So please do sign it. Share it with all your friends. If you want to help us out a bit more, please consider chipping into the donation campaign. We're going to be commissioning a public opinion poll in the UK to find out just how many Brits want this to happen. That will back up what we say in the petition. I'll hand that into the government as well. And by the way, the International Development Secretary, Penny Mordaunt, has already said that she's looking to review the foreign aid budget and the way in which we do things with Pakistan. So we're halfway there. If we tell her that we want to stop foreign aid completely, maybe she'll listen. So please sign the petition at stopforeignaidtopakistan.com, consider chipping in, and let's see if we can get the British government to really push Pakistan to change its ways. Extremist terrorist supporting state Pakistan is taking hundreds of millions of pounds of our money in foreign aid every year. I think it's wrong. Please sign the petition and chip into our campaign fund at stopforeignaidtopakistan.com.